Chapter 18, Investment Gems, Building a Real Estate Empire. Now, one thing I tell everyone is to learn about real estate. Repeat after me. Real estate provides the highest returns, the greatest values, and the least risk. Armstrong Williams. As noted before, Tony Pizarro's naval career was abruptly cut when he was forced to retire after 30 years in service. In January of 1989, he still had 2 years ahead of him, but he had to make a critical and painful decision. Either to continue with the service and get a guaranteed promotion to a higher rank in just a few months, or save his investment in the construction of a condominium project that was then in peril. Had he waited for just a few months, he would have earned another bar in his rank. But he was at risk of filing for bankruptcy if he did not quit and venture to save his failing condominium project on time. Years ago, Tony, while stationed at the Naval Supply Center in San Diego, California, casually visited his Aunt Liwanag. She was the loving aunt who took care of him when he was only 11 years old and growing up in Rosario, Cavite. Liwanag, the stepsister of his mother, was then living in National City, a suburb south of downtown San Diego. The city has one of the highest concentrations of Filipinos in San Diego because it abuts the 32nd Street Naval Station, the Navy being one of the biggest employers in the South Bay. One of her sons had joined the Navy and petitioned her to America. Most of the Filipinos had come to San Diego through the U.S. Navy for boot camp training and had come to take a liking to the mild weather and great appeal of Southern California, most especially San Diego. Billed as America's finest city because of its good weather. Quite a number of retirees settled in the area, and most of them either bought or rented apartments in National City to be near their work. When they retired from service, they did not move away, but instead bought and lived in houses near the area. His aunt Liwanag de la Cruz offered Tony to buy her lot in National City. In his desire to pay her back for all her good and kind deeds, Tony bought the place. He even added to the price in appreciation of her kindness in taking care of him when he was a young boy. Tony thought of it as just another real estate investment, much like his decision to purchase his house in the Claremont area and then a commercial property on Market Street near downtown San Diego. Tony and Priscilla also agreed to buy the neighboring lots. When the owner of the third lot found out about the deal, he offered to buy Tony the lot to expand his property. "Why don't I buy your lot instead?" he countered the offer. At that time and even now, he was awash with cash, savings from his Navy and his wife's medical incomes. The neighbor got an offer he could not refuse, as they say in the movies, and sold his lot to Tony. Suddenly, Tony's property increased to 3 city blocks in the heart of National City. Tony hired a Filipino contractor he trusted to build the 21 condominium units on the property in summer of 1987. During the construction, Tony was still on active duty, but assigned at the U.S. Naval Air Station in Memphis, Tennessee, and his wife was busy with her medical practice. With 2/3 of the project still to be completed, the contractor suddenly bailed out. All the money paid to him to do the entire job was gone. It turned out that he pocketed some of the funds for himself, including those budgeted for materials, until he ran out of money to finish the work. He simply walked out. Tony was left hanging in the air as there were a lot of things yet to be done to complete the project. Nobody else could finish the job except Tony, who was without a choice. It was a difficult decision to make. If Tony were to hang on to his Navy career, he would have earned another bar in his uniform, a promotion, and a higher retirement income. But he would lose the nest egg he had worked for all his life if he left his project unattended. He had to make a decision quickly. He decided upon his return to NAS Memphis to request to be sent back to San Diego immediately to complete the unfinished job the contractor had abandoned. Tony also requested to retire from the U.S. Navy on March 1st, 1989. He sent his request all the way to the top, explaining his personal and family dilemma. It was approved, and on December 5th, 1989, he traveled back to San Diego. Upon his arrival to San Diego, Tony went to the National City Building Department and looked for the unfinished punch list turned in by the building inspector. Upon his review, he promised the city engineer he would secure all the licenses and permits in a timely manner as required by the government for the project in a few months' time. With hardly any knowledge in construction, he was forced to learn the ropes, by trial and error even, in building the family-owned 26-unit condominium complex project that was designed with amenities and facilities expected of a luxury living complex in mind. With limited experience, he took over the job as the general contractor, became the project manager, and guided a multi-million-dollar construction to completion. Through sheer guts, courage, and strong determination, Tony completed the project ahead of time and well within the approved bank budget. He took care of everything, from financing to working with architects and engineers on design, coordinating various contractors in the different phases of construction, coordinating all the city, engineering, fire safety, health and other inspections, and did it all, thereby attaining success in every step. The complex is now popularly known as Villa Paraiso, a landmark which quickly became the center of community activities in the heart of National City. The clubhouse not only serves the needs of the immediate condominium residents, but has become a gathering place for the community at large. The project has earned him a fortune, generating an income stream he could not have realized had he chosen to remain with the Navy. Over the past 31 years, the condominium units continue to attract a steady flow of tenants, turning the initial crisis into an unprecedented income opportunity Tony is thankful for to this day. This money-making property is just one of his many real estate investments in San Diego. In 1974, when he was transferred from Long Beach, he sold his first home in Anaheim, California, earning him a tidy profit. Later, he bought a property in the Claremont area, an upper-middle-class community in San Diego. But it was out of the way for many of his friends in the service. Most of them were in the Filipino community of Mira Mesa, where they had become neighbors. Eventually, when the communities in nearby Rancho Peñasquitos opened up, a lot of his Filipino shipmates and friends moved there. "Buy a house here so we will be near each other," they urged him. But Tony refused to budge, preferring the quiet and classy neighborhood in Claremont. Besides, it was near the University of California in San Diego, where his wife Priscilla taught in the College of Medicine, and easily accessible from the private schools where his two children went. Moreover, he also had a bigger reason to stay put in Claremont. His research showed that the appreciation of properties in the neighborhood he lived in was one of the best in San Diego County. Tony bought the property in 1974 for only $53,000, and after living there for 35 years, he sold it in 2009 for $596,000, netting him a profit of $543,000. To avoid paying the capital gains tax, a huge percentage of $543,000 earnings, he used it, together with their other savings from their investments, profits from their business, and earnings from the couple's profession, to construct their custom-built mansion in Rancho Santa Fe, a seemingly impossible dream that had come true. His other real estate investments include 3 high-end condominium rental properties at Colina Resort in Oahu, Hawaii, several apartment units in National City, San Diego, and a commercial building in Claremont. Not bad for a boy orphaned from his mother at the age of 4 and who struggled through poverty under the care of various relatives until he was old enough to join the U.S. Navy and carve out his own destiny.